5 things I stopped buying in 2020.
So the first thing that I stopped doing in 2020 was to stop buying things whenever there is a sale. And you would think that this is very counterintuitive because we have things like 11/11, we have things like 12/12, which is coming out in a few days. And there's always this urge to go out and buy something, go to Lazada, Shopee, to go and buy anything that would be on sale just because it gives you that satisfaction that you actually save money. But the approach that I've taken this year is not to buy anything if I don't need anything. And I haven't bought anything on Singles Day. I don't plan to buy anything on 12/12 because I really don't need anything, as opposed to previous years where I would literally log on and just check out items that I think are interesting or have a huge discount off. But in retrospect, I actually didn't use those things, so I decided to stop buying anything that's on sale, especially on those like super shopping kind of days. Second thing that I stopped buying is actually books, and this is quite interesting for the people who know me because I am an avid reader. I try to read 1 or 2 books a week, and usually non-fiction books. So what I've done is I actually stopped buying books from Kinokuniya or Borders in the past, and what I've done now is always to borrow books from the library. So as you know, the National Library has a huge range of books and they always have new books as well, new collections coming in, even new books that were published in 2020. And that's actually what I've been doing the last few years because all of my books are now borrowed from the library and it gives me a few benefits. First of all, I save money on buying books. The second thing is I save space at home because I don't need to store the books in the bookshelf that eventually collecting dust. Now the third thing that I've stopped buying is what I call unnecessary food. And you probably know this as well. This is food or drinks that you purchase when you're not really feeling hungry, you're not feeling thirsty, and this could range anything from fast food or to bubble tea. And bubble tea culture is very big, I would say, in many Asian countries and sometimes even in the US. I've seen a huge bubble tea culture in Japan as well. And that is basically what I've stopped buying in 2021. I've begun to cut down on the amount of money I spend on sugary drinks, be it bubble tea, Starbucks. I actually didn't really buy Starbucks drinks because I don't really drink coffee, but I've cut down on like fruit juices or bubble tea or anything that's stored in plastic containers. And what I've done is to basically drink more water that I take from home, and that's basically almost free instead of spending anywhere from $5 to $7 on a big cup of bubble tea when I'm outside. And even though it's not a huge amount of savings, it does add up over time. And the other benefit is that I actually save calories, or it's generally healthier because I'm just drinking water most of the time. Now the fourth one is also surprising to a lot of people. I've stopped paying for my gym membership. And this is coming from someone who really enjoys working out, or in the past I used to be very active, be it on membership passes like Class Pass or Guava Pass, or even at commercial gyms where you pay around $170 to $200 a month for a gym membership. So what I've done is to stop paying for a gym membership and I started working out at home or at the calisthenics areas where there's a pull-up bars to do calisthenics workouts. So that is actually pretty significant for me because that means that you're saving around $1,000 to $2,000 a year on the gym membership, which I think is pretty significant. But one of the downsides is that you might not have as much discipline to work out at home. So by doing this, I think what I actually needed to do is to be very disciplined in working out at home to be able to recreate the same kind of experience that I have in the gym. And I would say that it really involves discipline and really setting aside time for it. So a good tip would be basically maybe doing it every morning once you wake up, just putting in half an hour of work to do like push-ups, sit-ups, whatever you're doing. I do kettlebell swings at home. I use several equipment that I purchased ever since I stopped my gym membership. And so far it's been working for me. Or what I do otherwise is to meet up with friends who work out, and then that would be a good way to get in a good workout that is free and you get to socialize as well. And the last thing that I have really cut back on in 2020 is to stop spending so much on clothes. And this might be something that is difficult especially maybe for females where there is that pressure to chase trends, to look trendy, to get the latest like Adidas, Yeezy Boost, or whatever that's trendy. And that is something that I actually cut back on gradually over the years, where I stopped buying more and more clothes, because one thing I've seen is I usually buy a lot of duplicates of things that I like, and I end up not wearing them. So by the time I get to them, they're actually not as good anymore. Like for some clothes, the elastic is just not there, and eventually you need to throw away. So now the approach that I take is replace. I only buy clothes when I need to replace it, or if I really need it. If I need a piece of clothing for just one occasion, I probably would not buy it. I'll think of other ways to get that piece of clothing. Likewise, I don't really buy trending clothes right now. I remember a few years ago it was the asymmetrical skirt for a lot of ladies, and then I think this year it's like crop tops and toga tops and white bell bottom jeans. So what I've done in the last few years is to stick to very reliable classics or things that I usually wear. And for me, it tends to be a lot of pants. I really hardly wear skirts, if ever, so I don't buy that at all. I do have a lot of sports apparel that I'm looking to cut back on, or I'm just using the ones that I bought a few years ago that I haven't yet worn. So when I look at my wardrobe, definitely one of the things is the realization that I really don't need that many more clothes. And that is definitely one of the things that I cut back on in 2020, and I plan to do the same in 2021. That's it. Those are the things that I saved on by not buying in 2020, and I plan to stop buying them in 2021 as well. So yeah, so that's my goals for 2021.